Hey, Dr. Cooper. All right. So, I haven't been happy with the last couple of these that I did. So I had started here. I was just going to kind of show you. I didn't follow your template, and then I was like, oh, my graph's not coming out at all well. And then I spoke with another classmate, and she was like, yeah, use the template, and it'll make it a lot easier. So the cool thing, though, of course, was that I figured out that I could just slide down, grab all this data, and move it over here, and voila, I followed the beautiful template that was already laid out for me. And I kind of had a little bit of trouble with this, but I really like what like the applications for this I thought were really good. um I realized that I kind of was doing the videos like not the way you wanted them at all. I was kind of doing them more for me so I could track back, and that's not what you wanted. You wanted me to like assess the data with you. So that's what I'll do now. Um, but I really did like this one. Um, I saw some really interesting things that I wasn't aware of. I took the U.S. history data and the English 2. So last year I was teaching English 1 and English 2, and really I didn't look at anybody else's data because it didn't apply to me, so I didn't really care. I mean, that's not a great way to put it, but I was so focused on my own data that like where are my bubble kids and how am I going to get these kids to pass the star, right? So over here we have our English 2 um, star, and then over here we have our history star. And um, I never really noticed until uh, we're data, everybody's data, but we don't ever really sit down to talk with each other about what kids are failing every test, right? Um, and so I think this would be a really handy tool for that to, you know, uh, we see these down here that are just really need a focus on test taking strategies. I feel um, we got some that are closer or passing on one and not that far away on others, and and then we got some that are just a couple questions off. I really feel like that's just a poor test day. um, but then they're just huge. Like this one's really, I mean, when you really do the math on it, it's like 5 questions. Um, and it's just it's really interesting for me to look at this and be able to see the huge gap there. And I would not, before looking at this, assume that uh, if they're scoring like a 4,000 on the history test, there's no way that they would score a 3,200 on the English test. And then we have these are all, going to be the ones that just crushed it all the way around, right? So, in the 4,000s are um, good enough on both. But it was just really neat for me to see this um, and see where they were in comparison. To see the I mean, yeah, there are kids that are just going to score well on all of them, and there are kids that are going to uh score poorly on all of them. But the ones that are kind of just destroying one test, and then I mean, there are just huge gaps all the way through here. Um, and I feel like whenever we have a bunch that are um, failing, all the tests, that really should be addressed. I know that wasn't really the point of this assignment, but uh, that's my big takeaway is to have us analyze all of the data for all of them, and have some institute some kind of I know we get that mandated tutoring, but something like that where we're targeting test taking strategies and really focusing, especially whenever we're dealing with all these over here. Uh, and I'm talking about like at a school wide, not instituted by just one teacher. Whenever we see, hey, they're failing every single test, they're not sped. How are we going to address this going forward? And then these like huge discrepancies that are just kind of, um, I mean, it's just there's not um, a huge pattern to it. Uh, and I'm seeing things that are just kind of all over the place. Um, so, um, but really, a really practical application. Didn't think about doing it this way. I know that it was kind of geared in a different way, and then I talked to one of my classmates, and I really like the way that she had it set up. I got the data and went ahead and because I've had a lot of time to consider what I wanted to do, and I'd say that the biggest thing that I pulled away from this is how much better, uh, like with Philip down here, um, that is a huge difference. You're talking about, one question away from passing and, uh, you know, um, 15 questions away from passing. So they're just huge, huge gaps in these when I was looking at the data and then we plot it. And I mean, it plots pretty much how I figured, kind of all over the place. But anyways, really liked looking at this and looking at the data on this one and using my actual school data. Some of the data that I really haven't addressed or looked at. So that's all I have. Y'all have a wonderful evening.